We're live. It is February 25th, 2025, 7 o'clock. My name is Joey Ragona. We are here for Heart Centered Marketing, another show talking about stuff that I just love talking about to help you in your business, in your online business, in your life, making everything a lot simpler. And today, the topic that I want to talk about is the knowledge area and talking about a couple of things that I want to share with you. One is that a story about uh, I learned this in real estate way back in, I don't know, it was 2008. I think it was like that, 2008. And I learned how important that being knowledgeable was just not enough. And that's what this whole thing is about. And you might be familiar with one of the old, I guess, advices was used to be like, hey, just be a chapter ahead of somebody, and then you can start a course and sell that stuff. And I'm not sure that, that is really good advice these days. But I want to talk a little bit about the three areas that are really important. I got some notes here. I want to make sure that I hit all of these. So I'm going to talk about the real estate story, about why this came to me back in, I don't know, 2008 or something like that, and the gap between knowledge and true mastery of what you do, because there's so many people that are online. There's three main pillars that I want to talk about. One is the knowledge pillar, and that is basically when you understand something. It's theoretical, and I love information. I don't know about you, but just absorbing information, getting as much knowledge as possible is something that I live for. It's like part of my DNA. Then there is experience. That's the technical skills and specialized capability. So if you have expertise in something, I would argue that you could still be an expert by reading a whole bunch of books, watching a whole bunch of courses, which is what I did when I jumped into the online world. A whole bunch of courses, and I was an expert. I could go on stage and I could talk about all kinds of different things. And we're going to I'm going to share another story with you that has to do with the expertise when I was selling Facebook ads. And then finally, it is the experience, which is the practical application and the real world implementation of stuff. And that is the key to everything, because then when you have experience in what you do, you can guide someone through, right? So these are all necessary. You have to have all three, but you can't stop at just knowledge. You can't stop at learning, because that, even though it provides the foundation for what you do, you have to know what it is that you're talking about, what you're teaching. That's the foundation of it. But you have to also have the expertise in it to understand it and to take it and look at different ways and perspectives of looking at the knowledge. And then there is the practical application. Like I said, it's the experience. So nothing is going to work out, or you're not going to understand how that knowledge works out, even the expertise of it, until you actually apply it. So let me tell you a personal story real quick about how this came to be for me in 2000. Like I said, it was around 2008 or 9, whatever it was. And I was heavily into real estate investing. And when I absorb in something, I'm like 1,000%. I go right in with this stuff. And I was, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, literally absorbing information. I was in forums within the network itself, learning, talking, all of that stuff. Finally went to the monthly meetings, all of that. Became an expert pretty quick. Became in experience, not an expert experience, an expert in what I was really interested in, which was joint ventures. Helping people understand how you can ask other people for money to invest. That's not the point. Here's the point. In one of those seminars, in one of those workshops, one of the weekend workshops, there was a dude who got on stage, and he was talking about, I think it was joint ventures as well, and to invest in his company. And he was talking about how for 15 years, how he went for, from zero to, I don't know, $1 billion in real estate, whatever it was, in investing and all of these great things. And I was looking around the room for the 45 minutes or something that he was on, and everybody's jaw was dropping, like, wow, I can't believe this. And he had the crowd, like, he had them in the palm of his hand. And the whole thing was for you to invest in his company. And he was talking about all kinds of different things. At the end of his pitch or whatever you want to call it, his talk, he talked about one thing that totally shifted everything. And I wasn't ready to invest with this dude anyway. I just knew something was off. But here's what happened. He said that he had not had a problem with tenants for the whole 15 years. So he's like everything is perfect. We got all the systems in place. He said all the right words. He said all of the great stuff. You know what? Like when you meet people who they've never really done the dang thing, but they read a lot of books and they know the right language to say, but they can just talk themselves out of a corner if they really had to, but they really never did it. So, but that really raised a red flag for me, because if you know anything about real estate investing, or maybe even if you don't know anything about real estate investing, you know that there's some kind of a problem, whether it's real estate investing or your business with an employee or a customer or something like that. There's something that comes up. And this dude was trying to sell us that he had zero problems. And even if that was true, okay, even if that was true, then I don't want to be there when the stuff hits the fan. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be there. If he does not have the experience in order to deal with tenant problems, no matter how many millions of dollars he's grown. I don't even know if that's true, but I'm just saying what I heard. And if that's true, then fantastic. But when you don't know how to deal with things in the real world because you're stuck in the knowledge phase of it, in the theoretical thing, man, there's going to be some problems. And so that was the first realization that what I was learning, what I was doing was not enough. Okay. By the way, if you're here live, let me know with a hashtag live or hashtag replay. Let me go to my trusty old iPad here and see if I no, I did not on the right thing here. There we go. Let me turn down the volume so we don't get the double. All right, cool. All right. So that's the main thing. And the other part of this was that, you know, when you're knowledgeable, it's great, but it's only the foundation. You have to graduate into the experience, to the expertise of it. So meaning that you're only focused in on that one thing to expand out of all the different perspectives of it. And that's great. So that if you're consuming information and you want to learn to do a specific thing, which will take me to my Facebook story, then you become an expert, right? But then it's the experience. And this is so critical to building your business. If you're trying to sell somebody on what you do, please make sure that you have the experience in what you do, not just reading books or going to certain seminars or courses, whatever, and then trying to sell that. You might have a little bit of the experience of it, but I mean, the expertise of it, but the experience is so important. This is where I messed up when I was selling Facebook ads, or not Facebook ads, telling people how to do Facebook ads, because I wouldn't call myself an expert in it, but I was shadowing like Frank Kern at the time. And there was a new IBB or IBB, is it called? Intent-based marketing or something like that, IBM, whatever it is. And it was brand new, and it was how to do all this other kind of stuff. And I was so into it that I was shadowing and doing like one step behind it. Like, you're doing this, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. But then I started to teach it because I was so involved with it. I created workflows and charts and all kinds of different things, a course, if you want to call it that. But I was not an expert in Facebook ads. So I didn't know how to navigate the landscape in case something really happened. It's not that I didn't have the experience in running ads, because I did do ads, but looking back, I would not call myself an expert in it. And I should not have been really trying to teach others how to run that whole entire thing. It was because it was based on theory, and I didn't have enough experience in it, even though I was doing it. Lost, I don't know, upwards of $15,000 for me. That was a large sum of money back then. And it was like, I'm trying to teach this. And that's what I'm talking about, where people get into this area of dabbling sometimes, maybe with the knowledge, and they're an expert in it because they've been doing it for, I don't know, a month or two, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And they're an expert in it because they can talk about it. Believe me, I've met a lot of people who can talk a really good stick, but they've not done what they're saying. they're you know, and like I said, I was one of them. Even though I was dabbling in it a little bit, it wasn't enough to be that to have that experience so that I could navigate the landscape in order to fix it. Now, let me give you an example of, bringing this to the coaching world, because this is the world that I'm in. So I'm going to break this down and go from, let me just say, I did have a couple of notes here because I wrote this down. I didn't want to forget what it was. There are levels of mastery, and the mastery comes from the Dreyfus model. So I want to share those with you, and then help you understand like what the levels are, so you can get to it yourself. And then wherever you are on that mastery level is when you get to, in my mind, it is on in this one, it is the expertise model, but I believe it's about experience. So keep that in mind. The novice, I'm going to use coaching as the example for this, is a new coach who's just reading scripts and they're following exact templates, which is where I was. I was totally there and had all kinds of different scripts, all kinds of different templates and all that kind of stuff, where and that's one of the reasons why, if you've ever heard me talk about my banker's box full of prep forms or coaching call prep forms that never went anywhere, it was because I was so novice about it and I didn't know how to sell, but I was trying to read scripts and go through all of these knowledgeable things to learn, like how trying to convert somebody, when I really was a novice at that point, didn't have any experience whatsoever. Then there's the competence level, a coach who can basically adapt their approach to client feedback. And that's where I graduated to very quickly. And then it was where I started building my business. Then there's the proficiency. Proficiency is when a coach, I'm just giving you an example of coaches, because this is what I know, who understands complex client situations. And that is where you're beginning to approach mastery. And this is where that expertise or experience comes into play. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just using the Dreyfus model, however you say that, to make you understand like how important the experience is. Because now, as a coach, you've been working in for online at least since 2012, yeah, something like that, like almost every day. And when a client shows up, I can tell right away and I can adapt to a situation. This is one of the reasons why I did not join other coaching programs that were very linear. I think we talked about this before. I think I talked about it with my friend Lauren before, where I didn't join rigid programs, not because they weren't good. It was because I wanted to be able to go to the level of mastery that I thought that I needed to get to, which is understanding complex client situations. And then what I do is I simplify everything. That's basically my gift. I love problems that I can simplify, and I've been doing that for ages. The next piece is the expertise. This is where I think experience in my world would be the replacement. But in Dreyfus model, it is called expertise. That's where a coach intuitively knows which strategies will apply to specific clients. And that is super important because that is what experience tells you. You can go onto a battlefield with weapons, whatever, and you intuitively know which ones you need to work with. Same thing as with your coaching or whatever you're doing. Instead of having a followed plan, which is, I'm not against followed plans or checklists or anything like that, but I am adapting constantly when people are in front of me, when my coaching clients are in front of me, even if they've come with, maybe we're doing a marketing audit or a business audit or something like that. I will start out with a checklist of things that I don't want to not forget, right? Or I want to remember. But then I might stop depending on their answers, depending on where they are. I'm able to adapt and move on to, you don't need this strategy over here. You don't need this thing. You need this other thing over here. And then finally, in the Dreyfus model, you have mastery, which is a thought leader, which is someone who innovates new coaching methodologies. And this is where I believe I am now too, within my coaching world, which is, and you're maintaining authenticity. This is huge. Okay. So you're creating frameworks. You're looking at different ideas and combining them. You're consolidating things. One of the things that I love to do is take all kinds of different information and consolidate to the best and create frameworks from those things as well. And that's where the mastery part of it comes. That's where experience comes from. By the way, if you're here live, let me know with the hashtag live or hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. Let me just double check on Facebook's here. Let me see here. Overview. Okay, cool. Sorry, just got to look down at my iPad. All right, so that is the thing. So remember that when you are trying to build the business and you're basing it only on learning, on knowledge that you have, on notes, it's not enough. You have to have the expertise, which is the next level, diving into those books, looking at different ideas from different places and different sources and how other people are looking at their perspectives, so you can put it all together, so you can talk about it and have discussions around it. And then there is the experience, because if you can't apply what you've learned, you don't know how it works. Even again, I could argue and I can talk about Facebook ads. I can talk about all kinds of different things that I've learned. Thanks for the love, by the way. See you there. I don't know who that is, but thank you. And I can talk about a lot of stuff, but am I an expertise? Am I the person to guide you through? Probably not. That's what I'm saying. Is so if you could please do your market a favor and make it super simple for you, is to actually get into the habit or get into the experience and go do the thing that you're trying to teach. To me, that is what a real coach does. That's how you're going to build your business, because then you can not only answer questions, but now when you are thrown a wrench, somebody throws a wrench into your talk or something like that, it doesn't even rattle you. Like I do Kajabi every month, and I've been doing that for 3 years, something like that, 3 years. And every single time, no matter what they ask, even if it's kind of the same stuff, there's nothing you can ask. Actually, I'm lying. There are a couple of things where I just don't know, and I just say don't know. Like that doesn't that's not my expertise. And I think that's where the authenticity piece of it comes in, right? I just said that. But most of the questions I get, 98% of them, is like, here's another perspective. Here's the way I can look at this, and it's not even, you don't even have to have anything prepared. It's just ask me the question and I'll answer the questions. That's what experience does for you. Expertise, on the other hand, I've seen this happen so many times, and it's like they're reiterating what they've read. But you can tell, if you ask the right question, you can tell that the person has not done the thing. And I don't want that to be you. So I'd love to know from you. If you're watching on the replay, let me know. Watching now on the replay, let me know, or live on the if all this resonates with you. Where are you in the process of this? Are you on the knowledge process, learning right now, as a novice, whatever that looks like, which is a good thing? And then, or are you on the expertise level where you know enough that if you had to really talk about something, you could talk about it, but you haven't yet had the experience. Maybe you haven't had the experience yet. Doesn't mean you can't go and teach something. And that's one of the ways that you can become knowledgeable in the experience. Because when you become an expert, here's a tip for you. When you become an expert at something, go teach it. Go teach it. It doesn't mean you have to get paid for it, but go teach that, because that will give you experience in what's happening when you're teaching it. How's the feedback coming back? And obviously, go do the dang thing, okay? If you're learning something, if you want to teach it, if you want to get paid for it, go do the thing, have experience in it enough so that when you're challenged, you can navigate through the storm. Hopefully this helps. Another Heart Center Marketing show coming up next week, and we'll talk about some really cool stuff. Thank you for being here live every single Tuesday on Heart Centered Marketing. My name is Joey. Talk to you soon.